Welcome to Magic the Budgeting, where we learn how to play Magic without breaking the bank. Welcome to Magic the Budgeting, where we learn how to play Magic without breaking the bank. This video is a guide on completing the Blue Deck Color Challenge in Magic the Gathering Arena. If you're a first-time player, you can play the Color Challenge right here, next to your experience rewards. Or, if you're a returning player, or new player, you can also come up to the Learn More icon at the top right, drop down, and start here, Master the Color Challenge. Our last video, we completed the White Deck challenges. Today, we're here for Blue Deck. You'll have to complete these color challenges if you're looking to play ranked PvP, and you'll get a bunch of rewards along the way anyway, so let's go. Our first challenge is against Liliana. Alright, get your islands going, drop them on the field. First combo we're looking at is getting this Warden of Evos on the field. This will reduce the cost of all of our other flying creatures, which this deck has many of. So finally we get to 3. Drop our Warden. Now we can play creatures with flying, which is most of this deck, much more quickly. I don't really care too much about what she is doing over here. None of this has flying anyways, so we can play right over top of it. 4 islands, which is enough to drop 2 Seers this turn. Get the first one, draw our card. Oh, but wait, we got another Warden. We can drop this even further, stacking this down. So we have just a single mana cost to play those Seers, and just 3 for the Windstorm Drake. Let's get our Flyer attack in. She can't block anything because this Warden has flying. She does not have any flying creatures or reach. So the Warden can make its way right over the top. And we don't really want to lose any of our creatures, so we're not going to block. We have plenty of life left. So now we have an option. We could either drop our Windstorm Drake or play a couple of Seers. We're going to drop an island. We'll do a little bit of both. Actually, look at that. Wow, we have so much mana we can do all of it. Let's draw our cards just to see what we get. Just in case there's any chance something is better than the Windstorm Drake, but I'm sure there's not. Oh, look at that, another Windstorm Drake for next turn. So we drop this on the field, and look at that, all of our flyers gain an additional strength. We'll go right over the top, attacking Liliana. Still no flyers or creatures with reach, so none of them can really block us. Drop another island. We'll draw the card first, is technically probably the right thing to do. Just to see our options. Look, we can even unsummon something if we want. But we just have so much damage on the field. It's completely absurd. And there we have it. Nice, easy first Blue Deck challenge. Alright, time to face Vivian. We're going to play around, I believe it's the Unsummon card quite a bit more, where you return creatures back to players' hands. Okay, drop your island. You can drop a Wall of Runes to get started. Defender means this creature can't attack, but it can block. We also get to scry one. We have plenty of lands. We could move that to the bottom of our deck. Ah, nice. And that will help reduce the cost again of all of our flyers, just like it did in the last game. Drop another land, get our Warden on the field. Now all of our flying creatures are going to cost much less to play. Now this is getting a little scary. Vivian's not only got 3 lands down, but she's playing these creatures which can tap to add mana. Letting her really drop some heavy creatures much faster. Now, before we play our land, let's see what we can get a hold of here with the Seer. Ooh, that'll come in handy later. Go ahead and drop our second land. We can draw another card. And just like last match, there's nothing with flying or reach. So there's nothing that can block our flying creatures. We'll go ahead and launch an attack. Alright, and here's where things get problematic. Sentinel Spider, a 4/4 creature with Vigilance and Reach. Which means... Hold on one second. Let's go ahead and block the 1 damage, because we can. No need to take 1 damage when we can just block it with the Defender. Fortunately, our Cloudkins will die to that little... What is that? Elysian Caryatid. So, let's talk about the Reach deal. Reach gives a creature ability to block creatures with flying. So, we have nothing that's going to be able to take out that Sentinel Spider. We have just drawn, however, let's get our land on the board, Unsummon, returning target creatures back to the owner's hand. So now, we've got a bunch of flyers on the board. If we remove the only thing that can block them, we can go ahead and strike. No problem. So this is all about evading your opponent's blockers, right? We can just keep attacking over top because we have so many creatures with flying. You can see coming up, we do have another Unsummon, so even if that Sentinel Spider comes down, as it should, we can return it to Vivian's hand. So this time, we have 4 toughness, we can block the 2/2. Just blocking the most amount of damage possible without losing our Wall of Runes. Keeps us as healthy as possible. Now, this is an important note. Before it's our turn, we have so much mana left over, and Unsummon is an instant. Let's use that on the Sentinel Spider, since we're about to untap all of our mana anyway. There we go. Now we can play our 6th island. We can drop the Frilled Sea Serpent on the field this turn. Eventually we can make that unblockable with enough mana. And look at this. Spiders in the hand. Nothing can block our flying creatures. Let's attack with everything. This pesky Sentinel Spider keeps dropping on the field, and unfortunately this time, we don't have anything that can get over, get rid of the Sentinel Spider. So, what we're going to have to do instead is, well, we have several flying creatures here, and Sentinel Spider can only block 1. Now, all of these creatures are land creatures. Any of them could block the Frilled Sea Serpent. But we've got plenty of mana, nothing else to do. Let's activate its ability. It's unblockable. This is going to go through. She can't block all of these flyers. We're going to be able to reach that 6th life no problem. There's the 1 block, but everything else gets over the top. So we are on to Ajani, the white deck. So now we're learning a lot of the tricks of the blue deck. We've got all these flyers that can get over the top. We've got Unsummon to play with. We're going to see the new Waterkin Shaman, a creature that gets a buff when flying creatures enter the field. Let's go ahead and play the Waterkin. Ah, there's that Fencing Ace card that we were using back in the white color challenge. So we'll go up to 3 mana. We're going to drop the Cloudkin Seer. But I don't want to lose this Waterkin quite yet, so we're actually not going to attack. That double strike is very problematic for our non-flying creature here. No attacks. We'll get there in time. Now, it might be tempting to block, but again, that double strike is very problematic. We really don't want to lose our board. We can afford to lose this life for now. Oh, that does hurt. Drop another island, and we'll get a lot of value out of these unsummons now. Not only is Fencing Ace going to have Summoning Sickness when it re-enters the field, since he buffed it with the Knight's Pledge, that enchantment is destroyed. Okay, and here we are, 2 creatures on the field, 4 lands. We're in pretty good shape. Ajani's really on the back foot now. We have another unsummon, so we can do the same thing if we need to. That fencing ace comes down again. Oh no, pacifism. That's annoying. Now, the end of our turn, there's two options. We could unsummon the fencing ace. We have all this mana, right? So we want to use it before it's our turn and we untap. Let's see if we unsummon the shaman. It does destroy the enchantment. Okay, and then we have him back in our hand, ready to be played again. Our land's untap, so that was a pretty effective way to use our spells there. Let's get the shaman on the board again. And this Cloudkin Seer can attack over the top. Because it has flying, of course. Okay, so that fencing ace, that pesky Knight's Pledge. So strong. We can still take the damage. And we've got a couple of options here. So we do have unsummon, which is great, of course. We've seen that in action. But we could also, now we have 6 mana, we could also drop this Riddlemaster Sphinx. When it enters the battlefield, you can return a target creature to an opponent's hand. And that, or sorry, you can return any creature to the controller's hand. Right, so we could use it on ourselves if we wanted to as well. So let's go ahead and do this. Does the same thing as unsummon, but we also get a creature on the board, which is fantastic. Right, so let's get our Cloudkin over the top to attack. Pacifism. Annoying enchantment. Fortunately, though, there's the Knight's Pledge. We can get some pretty good value out of this. So now we can drop another mana, unsummon. It's tempting to unsummon the fencing ace, but look at what we can do here. We can unsummon our own Sphinx, which destroys the pacifism. This turns to our hand. We have 6 mana left, so we can play the Sphinx once more, getting it out to the field. Okay, then we can return their fencing ace, destroying that Knight's Pledge. And that fencing ace is tapped. We've got the 2 flying over the top, the now 3 buffed. No one can block it. We'll go ahead and strike through. Now, I think I did miss a turn where I didn't attack with the Cloudkin Seer. Hopefully that doesn't hurt us in the end. I can't remember if I missed that or not. Anyways, we're in pretty good shape. We've got 3, now dropping a 4th creature onto the board. Buff the shaman, draw another card. We still have mana to use it. Got all these flying creatures that can get over the top, and the shaman is just getting so strong. Neither of these can block any of our flyers, and we've got a total of 7 there. Doesn't really matter what we can do. The shaman can now take the fencing ace. Let's go ahead and get through. Oh yeah, blockers. He can use both with the double strikes to take it out, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Good. Easy enough. If you had another turn, you needed to, you could drop the Drake. It buffs the flyers. But there we go, another challenge down. And it's time to fight Chandra, the final AI challenge for this blue color deck. Alright, final AI challenge, blue versus red. An iconic matchup through the ages. Not in Magic, but in all walks of life. Classic blue versus red. Let's get our shaman onto the field. We're going to have a bunch of small creatures on that side, but we'll be using the shaman buffs, as well as some of our instants, all of our flying creatures, and unsummons when we need them to win the match. Get a second shaman onto the field. And we can go ahead and attack, since the cadet is tapped. save the unsummon. See what comes up. It's an instant, so we can always play it on her turn if we feel we need it. Ah, now there's something. It's maybe more worth the unsummon. So, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on the Spell Gorger Weird, right? So this can get out of control if our opponent is casting a lot of spells. Let's pass, we'll wait. We have until the end of the turn to see if we really need to unsummon that thing. We're not going to block, we can take 1 damage. And just because I don't want the blockers on the field and we can keep doing damage, we've got the 1 mana, let's go ahead and unsummon it. That's a really positive play for us because we're using a 1 mana card to send back a 3 mana card. It's eating up a lot of her resources to play that every turn. We'll drop our island. We get to draw a card, get a flyer on the board, and buff our shamans. The Street Cadet is tapped, so he won't be able to block any of this, which is great. Nice chunk of damage into Chandra. And we've got a flyer. Still don't want to block, don't want to lose that flyer for no reason. More mana. Now this time we have a couple options. We could play the flyer, which moves these both to 3/2, and buffs our seer, which is great. Or we could save the mana, improve the toughness of the shamans as they attack. When it is an instant, so if she blocks with the weird here, right? Buff the shamans so they don't die to the weird. Do we have lethal? 7, 8, 9. So we don't have lethal by dropping the Windstorm Drake and attacking with all of our creatures. So let's see if we can keep what's on the board and use our glint here. Yeah, we can do that. So this will save one of our creatures, which is really what we're looking for. She can block something with the weird if she wants. She's not even going to. Extend the turn. Another weird onto the battlefield. That is okay. We could have also left a blocker behind to take care of this. There's a lot of ways to play these out. Ah, okay. So this is enough toughness. Let's see, that does 2 damage, right? So we can do this to save our shaman. Alright, so Shock, because it's got the hexproof now from the glint, Shock is not going to be able to do any damage, and away we go. My turn. Beautiful. We have an unsummon, so we can get rid of the only thing on her field that can block. We can, let's see, actually if we use that, we're not going to have the mana for it. So let's go ahead, we'll unsummon. And we have 2, 4, 6, everything we need to win the challenge. No blockers left. This is ours, and if she's got another shock or something, we can glint to make sure that this card is protected, but it's not even that complicated. There we go. And once you defeat all the AI, you can jump into a match where you're going to play against another real opponent. I encourage you to play out the match to see how it'll go. I'm going to play a turn or two, and then give them the win, because we don't really need on this account any of the winning games, especially on this one. I already completed this challenge, just to kind of get a look at what was coming up. Keep all 7. Again, I'm just going to play 2 or 3 turns, and then we'll concede. We'll give them the win. I've got just enough to live with 1 HP, unless... Ah, there it is. Good game. We definitely lose here no matter what. That's fine. You still complete the challenge and get the rewards anyways. It's just a bit of a coin flip at the end to see who wins. But thanks for joining, and I'll see you for the next one if you're looking to complete more of your color challenges.